you've been given access to receive messages of clarity, guidance, and love. As channeler, psychotherapist, and author, Noemi Grace has an intimate dialogue with the divine on your behalf. Lisa Berry, creator of the show Light on Living, will be co-hosting as live callers ask their burning question on self-love, self-healing, deepening relationships, areas of struggle, and next steps. By simply listening in, you're receiving wisdom that will lead to sacred stability from every channeled message that Noemi delivers. Join us now as we give you access to angels and grace. Oh, well, hello, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to those who are celebrating it today. And hello, Noemi.
Hello, Lisa, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Happy day. Happy Monday. Yeah.
It's a very harmonious day, which we are talking about. So it kind of landed on a perfect day for this.
Yes, Thanksgiving and honoring Indigenous peoples. It's yes. So absolutely, so much, just going on and finding the harmony with, yet again, technical issues, but finding the harmony and being present. And that was one of the things that came up for me on the walk as I messaged you, was presence, the present moment. Harmonious action only exists here in the present moment. We can't, if we switch ourselves into the past mentally or into a projection of the future, then there's no harmonious action. And it's our lovely ego mind that's attached to one or the other more than the present moment. So it's learning how to recognize, not present. Coming in here. So it was funny that I couldn't now run the app on my computer, that we use for the broadcast. I was like, oh, harmonious, come present. I was like, okay, cell phone again, come present.
Yes. Well, that's interesting about the, when I think of harmony, harmonious, and that's what we're talking about all show today is it's alignment, and then we can be present, because when we're out of alignment, we're of course not present. Like, I love that you brought that up. We're in the past or the future. And what for me, when I'm present, do you know it really is a gift. Haha. I have to say that, because the things that have been like little stars light up in your world. This little word here, this little fun thing you like goes over there. And then all of a sudden, when you're present, it all lines up. Alignment. It does line up. And it kind of all comes together. I've been working on this one project, a writing project. And it's been taking I had all these pieces, like papers and papers. And I thought, am I not being present? And I was like, no, I was being present for every step of the way, each little thing that showed up. And then when divine timing, when we're all in harmony with everything, it comes together. And it did today. And I thought, oh, extra grateful on Thanksgiving today.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
It's finding that, the present is so, it's always available, but it can feel so almost transient or elusive or, difficult to embrace. And it's really something that it's here now. And when we're here now, it feels different because we're here, and our mind is not going places, because my mind likes to go places. My mind is overactive, and so being here is a great place to be.
Well, let's start with this. I'm going to read the show description because I think they're very helpful when we really get ourselves set up and we get our listeners set up, and what that really it is. I think that I know I'm starting to we can only ever be in the present moment, like us, we, our minds are elsewhere, but it's, I like that you said that. It's always the present moment, the now is always accessible because it really is all there is, and that's where harmony exists. So I'll read this show description, and we'll see where that takes us. So, are your actions in harmony with your truest self? Harmonious actions occur naturally when you learn to align your ego with your truest, unique essence. This type of action is radically different from actions taken on autopilot, and it invites the divine movement, invites divine movement and transformation to supercharge your manifestations. In our last show, myself, Lisa Berry, Noemi Grace, shared the value and importance of alignment or aligning your ego with your deepest essence. And now, of course, we're here to, we're going to find out. We're going to share powerful strategies for aligning your actions with your truest self. And Noemi, on that one, essence, I'm going to have you just share with us about how would you describe what we're talking about and what we mean when we say our essence?
Well, okay, so the essence is the truest you, the truest me. It is our unique beingness that we bring out into the world if we connect with it. It is our uniqueness, but it is also uniqueness that is sourced in love and truth and beauty and all these divine attributes. So it's kind of like our in my book, An Intimate Dialogue with God, The Miraculous Power of Unconditional Self-Love, divine channeled message is talking about how each one's essence is like ice cream. And you may go to, one of these mega ice cream places that has 57 flavors, and it's all yummy, and it's all unique. It's a little bit each one is different than the other, and it's all ice cream. And so it's all loving essence. It is all the truth of who we are. It is, so your essence, Lisa, is different than my essence. And so that's where we get to be unique. The ego wants us to be unique, but it wants it in a different way than going deep and finding out who we really are, accessing that. And when we access our essence, when we're able to embrace it, we access it first, and we're willing to embrace it. Because when I was first accessed it, I was like, no, not going to embrace this. Too big, too not me. I'm just wanting to be small. But when we can access that, it feels really good. It feels like home.
Oh, yes. I like that. It feels like home. And that, I'm choking, sorry. There's a special feeling about when you think home, and some people say, well, I don't know what home feels like. Maybe they didn't like being home, but we mean home in a way that you're so comfortable that you're you don't even realize that you're in the now. Like that's the now. You're just beingness.
That is really beautiful.
Because some people have that negative thing at first. Go off home. And also the melting feeling. Now I'm thinking about ice cream melting, so that's not a good idea. But what is that?
Melting feeling.
Really, yes, and it is all one. And do we have? Yeah, I love the channel message. There's some big words in there. I think we should really come, especially because I'm gonna spill the beans on this one word: uncomfortable and comfortable. And so I think that because we're talking about home and that feeling of home and just there, I think that's really helpful. So would you like to read the pre-channel message?
I would love to read the pre-channel message. Thank you for inviting me. Let me just grab a swig of water here.
Okay.
Okay. 1 second. I hear my husband coming, and it might be something with my tech issue. I'll be right back. Talk, Lisa.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Talk, Lisa. Alrighty. I will continue this little chat about harmonious actions. And just that question alone, are your actions in harmony with your truest self? I had to sit with this question for a while because I thought, well, what does it feel like when my actions aren't? Sometimes I do the backwards, the opposite of it, just to find out, like, okay, so what does it feel like when my actions are not, in harmony with my truest self? And Noemi, she's actually in the pre-channel message. I was so excited that it came up, and I thought, oh, this is so perfect, because when we can be aware of like, actions are not in harmony, this is why my manifestations, first of all, are not what I would like them to be, or maybe not as abundant.
Yeah. I mean, that harmonious place. So my husband came to tell me I was not harmonious in this mic, that I have a different mic that I should try to use. And I was like, okay, can't do that now. We'll try it in commercial. So I don't know what it is, but as soon as we've been talking about this alignment in the last 2 times, I've been having tech issues. And I'll go all week and all 2 weeks with no tech issues. And then we have the show, and I did my sound test early, but I didn't do my Lucy Global test to see if the app worked. So
Now, I have a question about that then, Noemi. Would one who is experiencing what you are experiencing, I mean, hey, I know about technical stuff, difficulties that is, but what can we take that action or result, let's call it a manifestation result, and sit back and can we question, is this because I'm not in harmony with something in my life, or can it simply just be that something is just off? Like,
yeah. So it's the openness, the willingness to look at things without getting into an obsession of questioning everything. It's that balance, that I find, right? So, because we can introspect about everything. Ooh, I create my own reality. I'm creating tech issues, and my computer is, even though it's not old, it's a little flaky. So I think it's creating tech issues personally. But so it's really being willing to look, but not let's leave no stone unturned over something like why I'm having tech issues. And then some people would say, I don't know if it's still happening, but Mercury was in retrograde. I don't know if it still is, but I know people that would blame every tech issue on that. And it was just like, well, it's not my thing I'm not an astrologer, so I wouldn't know what to do with that. But so
I like the word
coming back to presence.
Yes.
What's that?
I like that you use the word openness and willingness without obsession.
Yes. So coming back, coming here, coming now, and being with the pre-channeled message and being with the truth that's here and opening to receive it. And let's see what's here. Freedom through aligning with the truth of you. To align your actions with your truest self requires that you first know yourself. The more you know the truth of who you are, the easier it is for you to recognize when your actions are out of alignment with that truth. The true you is deep within you, and for many of you it is so deep that you can't perceive it. Yet you can only align with what you can perceive, and you can only align with what you know. And you can only know what you are able to perceive. So you seek to perceive the truth about you, the real and full truth of who you are. Your desire to fully know you will automatically deepen your perception of you. To fully know you, you will also need to let go of the judgments you hold against yourself. Your judgment of yourself is a roadblock to knowing you. And if you don't know you, how can align your actions with you? It is in the knowing of yourself as much more than you ever imagined that you are free to be fully you. Then your actions easily align with your deepest truth. When you know yourself in depth and truth, then any actions you take that are contrary to what you are become extremely uncomfortable. And if you choose to make those choices despite that discomfort, you become even more uncomfortable, sometimes to the point of feeling great distress. When you know yourself, you can no longer turn a blind eye to choices that go against you, that negate the truth of who you are. This is knowing the truth, and that truth setting you free. Free to be you, free to choose what supports and nourishes you, free from judgment and angst, free in the highest and fullest way. The truth of who you are is the truth that sets you free when you fully embrace it. Know yourself. Then the choices that support you become clear. Align with yourself and the truth of who you are. Live from that place within you that is the truth of who you are. Live life from the inside out, and it is easy to align with the true you. The more you know you, the more you know when you are not in the truth of you, and when you come from a source that is other than that truth, like fear, judgment, anxiety, sadness, rejection, betrayal, abandonment. All of these things are rooted in fear. And every fear is compatible with the truth of who you are. Even if you are in what seems to be a scary place, that truth of you is sourced in love, and fear does not reside in love. When you are in fear and its cohort emotions, learn to recognize that and stop and consciously choose to align your perception with the truth of who you are. And you will automatically shift out of fear. Even if you only partially know the truth of who you are, aligning with that truth that you do know has the power to shift you out of fear and back to your loving source. When you feel the discomfort of fear-based emotions, simply recognize that you're out of alignment with the truth of you, and you're trapped in a source of fear rather than the source of love which lives within you. And then choose to realign. This is a practice that requires practice to develop, and one that is well worth learning. Because through this practice of recognizing when you're off, realigning to the truth of who you are, and choosing that truth, you free yourself and you open up a wellspring of opportunities and power to manifest everything that is in alignment with the powerful and perfect truth of you. So much magnificence awaits you, and it starts with knowing yourself and aligning with the truth of you. In great love and encouragement, we are complete. Namaste.
Beautiful. Oh, I've heard that now a couple times. We talk about it, and more and more makes sense. Like, more I'm aligning with it more and more. I've had to hear it a couple times, and do this. So I just want to help everybody who's listening. If you got a few ahas, but you weren't even quite sure where or why, just you could just rewind this and listen to it again and take notes, because it makes there's so much clarity to it.
Yes. So you can come back to OMTimes, the radio, the webpage, and go to the archives of recent shows, and ours will be there, Access to Angels and Grace. Or if you follow Lisa or I on Facebook, I'll be posting a replay with a quote from the show sometime in the next day or two.
Yes, and I know that we're at commercial time, so when we do come back, I'm going to pick out my highlights there, which was, we're going to come back to that discomfort and aligning with your harmoniously aligning with yourself and living from the inside out. So when we come back,
yes, I like that.
Access to Angels and Grace.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
My loves, you know you're here as a soul-led leader to transform this world through the sharing of your passions and gifts. You are here to be in your warrior of light and align your business with your highest self. I'm Rosalind Fung of the show Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. Let's elevate your business to the next expansive level. I invite you to flow into a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalindfung.com. That's ROSALYN, fun as in have some fun, FUNG, and let's see how I can best hold space for you to align your highest self, magnetize your dream clients, and monetize on your soul mission. I can't wait to connect.
Coping 19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
All right, we are back here. This is Noemi Grace and Lisa Berry. And why we love to show up all the time is to really be on this journey with you. There's, boy, oh boy, we went from wounds and healing them and living from the beyond the wound to really coming into about our truest self. And those wounds are along our journey. And now we're into, our actions in harmony with our truest self, and how do we align with that? And Noemi, in that pre-channeled message, and when we were talking about it in general, I was like, well, how do we know this? And what do we do? And the word discomfort is so, I think I recognize it because I think I recognize discomfort more than wounds. That's, to me, I'm like, yeah, I know when I'm uncomfortable. I know when there's discomfort. I may not recognize a wound so much, because it has so many layers to it. Maybe discomfort actually is a part of the wound journey. But when we said that, when you're reading there, when our actions that we're actually taking, we're doing these things are contrary. They're contrary. They're against. They're not in alignment with our truest self. It does cause discomfort. And how might you notice that, Noemi, or how might that show up to somebody? Because you're mine, but I want to know how you do. We can't hear you at all.
Oops, sorry. I had turned my mic down. And I apologize again for whatever noise I'm going to try on the next commercial, since the last commercial was unsuccessful, to see if I can reinstall the app. But, because I'm told that I'm kind of noisy. And I'm sorry about that. I hate to detract from the beautiful message, right? But so there's part of me, wanting to be reinstalling this app while we're talking. So I'm actually going to shut the computer off and deal with that after. I'll try it in the break. But it's that. What was your question again, honey?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, right. We could use this as an example, actually. Like, how are you feeling when the actions are contrary, and you're feeling that discomfort?
Yeah.
Is it always visceral feeling, or is it a mind?
You know what? This is showing up in a very, very fascinating way, because feeling the discomfort that I've got noise, I've got feedback. That's feeling that maybe some people won't listen because. They'll be like, ooh, I don't like the quality of this. And so feeling, there's a part of me that's feeling real bad about all of this. And so it's like embracing that and surrendering. There's a surrendering to being present. It really is. It's letting go of all of that and choosing to be here. And so if you're hearing the noise, please stick it in, because we're going to have a couple channel messages that are going to be really powerful. I can feel it. And, I will surrender, and maybe you can surrender to listening through the noise. And,
I have listened to way worse, don't you worry.
My husband has a very fine-tuned ear, so he was like, ooh, you've got noise. I'm like, sorry.
But you know what it also shows? It highlights, and this is a very present moment thing. I love this, actually. This is a real live example. This is perfect. You feel like you're being pulled out of your present moment because you're distracted and you're all those things. But really, the present moment of your discomfort is highlighting how much you care and know the value and want to share it with people. So that's what I'm hearing, and that's what I'm witnessing from you.
That's beautiful. Yes, that's beautiful. And so that discomfort. Yeah, we can, right? I'm experiencing the discomfort partly, on multiple levels here, because discomfort that I'm not producing this high quality, and I tested everything so early and didn't test the app, and it's like, it's all of that, and I'm not beating myself up. I'm just like, wow, but well, it would be so nice to have it clear transmission, and it's not happening, and it's surrendering to that, and then the discomfort of not being. I have to keep bringing myself back to that alignment, keep bringing myself back, because there's part of me that just wants to go and fix this. I used to be a software engineer before I became a therapist and a channeler and a soul healer and all the things I do now. So it's like, oh, I've got to fix this problem. Like, no.
Oh, you are highlighting so many things that I know that we all go through. I love that you even just said, I should be able to do this. I used to be this. And you know, I'm going to bring this up is that I used to write on a daily basis and everybody loved what I wrote. It just flowed so easily. And then I stopped writing and then I tried getting back into it and I just couldn't. And I was like, but I should be able to. And my present moment I couldn't just go, well, it's right now. That's not where my energy is around. But there's this, oh, this is so interesting. The word guilt came up earlier this week. I was really exploring the word guilt. And we have this thing that we feel guilty, like we've done something wrong, like we used to be able to do something and now we don't, or it should have been something way. And even if we ice it prettily, make it all pretty, like I would be like, well, it would be nice to do that. That still is passive aggressive. That would be like, well, it would be nice if this worked. I'm really being passive aggressive when I say that because I'm like, stupid thing doesn't work. You know, and it's really what I'm thinking. And that affects us. It does take us out. And so our actions in alignment and are harmonious with it when we want something to be different than what it is.
Well, certainly we're not harmonious. When we want something to be different than what it is, we are not being harmonious. We're not in the harmony because the present moment is as it is. And yes, there's still that part of me that would like to be on my computer with my really nice Blue Yeti mic. And you know, and it's just, I'm embracing that. I'm laughing at the whole thing. I'm like, really? I know you know, whatever we're doing, whenever we're talking about in the show, Lisa and I experience that in our lives. So that, you know, when we're doing the wound series, wounds keep coming up. Yeah. And so here we are harmonious and the disharmony is showing up. And I'm just like,
we're harmoniously. and
it's just
to embrace it with love.
Yes, to embrace it with love because it is part of the human experience and being human. And we are not in a harmony like all the time, like some kind of instrument that's well tuned. You know, people have to, you know, tune their string instruments, and they have to, and pianos have to be retuned, right? Nothing is in harmony forever without a retune, a tune-up. And so it's kind of like, okay, recognizing that being out of that harmony, right? So it's like if you're singing in a choir or something and you just can't reach that note properly and it's like discordant and you're like, I can't reach it. And it, you know, you're so acutely aware of it. But then you might beat yourself up or then not sing at all. And this is more about like, okay, let's just recognize and then let's move into alignment. Let's learn how to move into that alignment. Okay, out of alignment. All right, it's not the end of the world. Move in, move back into alignment over and over again.
Well, I'm coming up with this question. I can feel the question coming in from, you know, for you to channel to source if we're feeling that, because it's coming through quite a bit here, is in the pre-channel message, 2 words were used. And I believe similarly, like that's what the question's around, is rooted and sourced. So rooted in love, sourced by love or from love or in love and all those words. When the question coming through is, okay, so even if our actions, they don't feel harmonious, we feel the discomfort, but we can come back to that kernel perception, that tiny little kernel perception that it is rooted, you know, in love and not fear, and that it is sourced from love and not fear. How can we really, and I love that our picture has like a bridge, you know, how can we make that bridge really strong and going to support us along that meeting our inner self and really coming back there?
Say that again.
So
it sounded really good, but it just somehow.
Yeah. If we our actions, they're not harmoniously, they're not in alignment, but we can feel that kernel of our truest self is showing us, like, I'm uncomfortable. I have discomfort, so I'm letting you know. And it's good that you're having discomfort, because if you didn't have the kernel of your truest self, you wouldn't even know that you were having discomfort. So it's this So how can we use that knowing that we are rooted and sourced from love, even when our actions they're not coming across that way? How can we make that bridge a little?
My app went into the background. So, I'm back. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, and we had talked, when we talked last week, about the kernel of truth versus and not versus, but also the truth of who we are. That sometimes when we are out of that alignment in how we present something, when it's disharmonious, that there is a kernel of truth of something that really is true for. Oh my goodness, the biggest hawk just flew inches from my window. So we've got that, and hawk is a very powerful sign. So for symbology of hawk is very powerful. It's, has powerful medicine. So we've got powerful medicine going here. So, but when there is this kernel of truth, and we can either really shine the light on that truth aspect, or we can shine the light on all the other stuff. So there's a kernel of truth, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening, and we can focus on somebody's tone rather than what they said. We can focus on discomfort rather than really what is here for us to learn from the discomfort. So I think I talked around your question.
That's okay. Well, the clarity comes with it as we do this. It's yes. How can we? I know that we'll do this question a little bit more laser here. How can we shine the light on that kernel of truth, and use the discomfort as our acknowledgement that our actions are not in harmonious alignment, and maybe channel a little bit, so we can really know how to really use our root, that we're rooted in love, and that our true self we can get there by focusing on the kernel.
Yes, right. Using that discomfort as a sign that, oh, okay, I'm out of alignment, but there's some kernel of truth here, and there's the truth of me, and taking your focus off of that discomfort and bringing it to finding that truth, like shining the flashlight. So we may go a little late on the commercial, but let's dive in and say hello to the divine and see what goodies they have.
Wonderful.
So if this is the first time you're listening, I'll just take a couple seconds to go deeper with the connection, and then greet the divine and turn it over to them and hear what they have to say. Hello, divine. So grateful that you're present here with us and have so much to share, and we are receptive. We want to be able to shine that light on that kernel of truth, and really focus on the truth rather than the discomfort, and using the discomfort to recognize as sort of a beacon, but then really focusing on the truth. Anything you can say to help? So grateful. And we are grateful for this question, and we acknowledge the discomfort you, Noemi Grace, are sitting with, in knowing that your transmission is not as crisp as you would like, but this transmission will be crisp. And it will be crisp in the words. It will be crisp in the energy and the vibration of it. And so focus on that energy and vibration. You focus, you see, you feel the out of alignment. Recognize that out of alignment. So many of you live out of alignment the majority of the time that you don't realize that you're out of alignment, that it doesn't feel different than what you're accustomed to. And so the more that you can discover the truth of who you are, and if you are feeling what Noemi Grace likes to call angst, if you are feeling that angst, know that you are out of alignment, because with the truth of who you are, with the kernel of truth, with the broader truth, with all of who you are, because the truth of who you are will bring you into presence, will bring you into peace, will bring you into compassion and kindness and non-judgment and acceptance and so many wonderful qualities that are there for you to experience. And so do not feel frustrated with the discomfort. Recognize it. Out of alignment. Time to realign and be willing to take a break in the midst of that discomfort, to return to your heart center, to breathe, to change your perception away. Okay, if I don't focus on this discomfort, what else is here for me? Because divine love is always there, and your true, unique, loving essence is always there. Everything of the truth of who you are is present in every moment. But you focus on the discomfort, and you focus on the things that are upsetting, and the things that you want to be different, and the things that are not the way you'd like, and so on and so forth. And there's so much grace that is here available, and that is our love flowing to you in compassion and transformation, and it's available. And so recognize the discomfort and choose to go deeper with it. Choose to open yourself to the gift and the discomfort. In every discomfort there is a gift, and there is that gift. Part of that gift is that kernel of truth, but there's so much more. There's compassion, there's kindness, there's acceptance, there's so much more that's available to you when you are willing to go and dive into the discomfort, not to be with the discomfort, but to see what is deeper, to see what else is there, to see what is the discomfort shining the light on. And do not be blinded by the light of discomfort, blinded by that light. Oh, too bright, too uncomfortable. Go deeper. Be willing to go deeper. Open wider. Ask for our help. Our help is always available. We are always with you every moment of every day. And we are available to shine that light, to hold your hand in loving kindness, and to encourage you, and to offer our loving support, because so much is available to you that you are barely tapping into, and know that there's so much more. So recognize the discomfort as an opportunity to go deeper, to discover the truth of who you are, to discover the kernel of truth in the situation, to discover more, that there's so much more, and being open. This is an opportunity for more, to discover something I've never seen before. Take it that way. Take it that way. Learn to develop that approach and that style and that response, and everything will change in your life. We are grateful for this question, and we are complete for this moment. Namaste. Ooh, not bad.
What an ending, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And everything will change. And you're like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, okay, wait, don't go. I like that one. That was good.
I really do honor the timing, you know. they're
yes,
I have my eyes closed when I'm channeling, so I have no idea what time it is, but they're honoring it.
They're really good. Well, yes, we will go to commercial, but when we come back, okay, so really fun stuff about discovering things through the uncomfortability, and how everything, and only things that you really don't want, but how everything could change in your life when we come on back.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Consistently attract soulmate clients. Begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business by tuning in on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. Join me for your light language activation and let's magnetize and monetize.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
All right. Well, that's okay. We're still fiddling with stuff, but that's okay. Hello, everybody. You know what? Noemi just delivered a beautiful channeled message, and really, the two questions that I pulled out of that was, how can we shine the light on the kernel of truth, and how can we use discomfort as our guideline to allow us to align more so? And one of the words I love there was discovering. And Noemi, I've got to share this with you. I decided that I really wanted to do Qigong. Do you say Qigong or Qigong? I'm going to say it this way.
Qigong.
Qigong. Okay. And there's this beautiful thing I'm going to do. It's a 100-day thing. And it's very easy, but I'll tell you, the few key things that we did in the very beginning, and it was as simple as, and I was laughing at myself over how much I loved it, was patting. Like, so you clap your hands and then you pat on your inner arm and in your armpit. And I thought, wow, this is discovering how I feel in my body. It was allowing me to discover if there was discomfort or if it just woke things up. And I started laughing and giggling through it because I just think it's fun. But I thought, wow, we are discovering. Like, if you don't know if you're like, I don't know if my actions are are they harmonious actions with myself or not? I don't know. But when you do little tests, so to speak, right? Like you try a new thing, like I did with the Qigong. I thought, wow, rubbing the inside of my hand, my left hurt, my right didn't. I was like, who knew? Well, let's figure this out. So it's a really fun process of discovery.
It is, and just being with what shows up.
Yes.
Being with it.
Yes. Oh, be with what shows up. Oh, that's a channel. Hold on here. We've got a request coming in. My spidey senses are killing. Do you feel like doing another beautiful channel to source here?
I absolutely do. And
okay.
It'll keep me
yeah.
Yes. It just, that was so beautiful, and the discomfort and being with what shows up. And that acceptance is so important. Okay, here it is, This is what we have. This is what's happening. And can we be with that?
Yeah. That is so important. And that's the question right there. So something shows up in your life and you're feeling the discomfort. Something shows up and you just love it and you want more of it. How do we just be with it? Because sometimes we want to take action, right? No, this can't happen. It needs to be forced, removed, deleted, or yay, this showed up and I want to jump right on that and get it done. So what is the difference between just being with something that shows up and how do we know when to take harmonious action?
That's a good one. So the difference between being with what shows up
versus taking, not versus, but, and then when to take harmonious
when
action.
to take.
And just the funniest little story on this one. I'll think of something that I think is so clever. Just pat myself on the back, I need to get that domain, and I buy it. So I probably have like 50 domains. I took quick action. Maybe I should have just.
Lots, but wow.
So maybe I should have just been with it, right? Maybe I should have just sat with it and enjoyed it versus taking this action. So now I'm making light of it. But that is a situation, where I act a lot and quickly because I think I'm excited. But sometimes when I have just sat with things, just been with what shows up, it doesn't mean I need to have the domain. I could just like the sentence or the word.
Or you could sit with it a while before you jump
Yes.
into that action. You know, and
Exactly.
that's for me, I'm such a doer that's sitting with it and being with it and allowing yourself to just simply be with something. Oh, wow. It's such a beautiful thing when I go there, but it's that place of that willingness to stop and
Yes.
sit and be
Patience.
present. And that keeps showing up here, you know, be present, stop, sit, be here now, and then see what happens, right? Maybe it's this quick little blip of something like, ooh, wouldn't that domain be so great? And then the next day you can't even remember it. So maybe it was not in alignment,
Right.
you know, and, you know, I think it's a practice that the more we are willing to sit, the more we're going to recognize, wow, this vibration, the strength of this vibration, the way that this is showing up for me is so powerful, and that this is that thing that I need to take this action on. And you know, with domain names, it's funny because somebody else might get that name and then we'll miss out. And you know,
Yes.
so then there's the FOMO stuff, right? Fear of missing out. And so it's being able to be with it first. And then when we're with it, that's where we're going to have that harmonious action. Last night I was listening to some Abraham and before bed, and there was something they said, which is, rather than just, you want something, rather than just immediately diving into action, wait for that impulse. You want that inspired action, which to me is that harmonious action. It's that where it really isn't just like, oh, I got to do this. I got to, you know, the anxious action, you know. I've taken that so many times, the anxious action. So being willing to be with the whatever it is and waiting for that time, that point where you just know, yeah, I know. This is really resonating. This is so resonating. And so for me, it's that resonance. How much does it resonate? Is it a cool idea, or is it like so just feel it so deep inside me?
And you just did full circle back to the original part of that question for the first channel, was about being rooted. Where is this action coming from? Is it rooted in FOMO, fear of missing out, or is it rooted in knowingness? Beautiful.
So, shall we see what else they have to say about this?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is,
grab a quick
how do
screen.
we know when to just be with something before taking that inspired harmonious action?
Love it. Okay. Okay. This is a great question. And we agree that this is a great question because most of you are action takers. You want something to be different. You want something to be better. You want things to be more to your liking. And so you are ready to jump, to leap at the first thought. And so there's half-baked, ungelled ideas. There are things that you go and you want to eat the half-baked cake. Well, that doesn't taste very good. Let the cake bake. Let the idea bake. Let yourself be with whatever that impulse is, whatever that aha is. Be with it. Do not need to run with it immediately. Be willing to be. Be willing to be present, to be willing to be with. Being for you is so much less desirable than doing. So if you are caught up in the doing, always doing, never stopping of doing. Some people, many of you, can't stop to do. If you are watching a movie on your television, you are still doing. You are cleaning, you are getting up, you are looking at your phones and your tablets and devices, and you are doing, you're talking, you're not able to just stop doing. And so the first piece is to be willing to stop doing, to be present with. Allow it to bake, allow it to gestate, allow it to germinate, allow the development of whatever it is that you feel that you must do. Oh, this is something important. Allow it to become clearer. Allow that clarity, allow that development. Don't run with it when it is not fully formed. Allow that formation. Be willing to wait. Be willing to be with something and let it grow. Let it develop. Let yourself understand, oh, this is so much more than I thought. Oh, this is actually different than I thought. Oh, yes, this is more me than any I could have imagined. Ooh, no, this really isn't me. Being able to make that distinction requires you to be with it. Be with it. Allow yourself to be. Stop the doing. Sit. Be present. Noemi Grace started by talking about presence, being in the present moment. And be present. Be present with it. Be with it. And whatever that it is, be willing to be. Be willing to behold it and to be with it and see it and feel it and know it and then see where it goes. You will get clarity. You will get deeper clarity. It will resonate more deeply like a singing bowl that is harmoniously singing, or it will become more discordant, or you may feel less excitement, less enthusiasm, more disconnection from it. You will get more clarity if you're willing to sit with it. So before you do it, any of it, sit, be with it, be present with it, and see what in the present moment you can learn. What does the present moment have to tell you? What does the being present with this have to tell you? If you are in the presence of all of that you want to run off and do, what does it tell you? There is a gift there for you. There are so many gifts in the present moment. In the presence of the present moment, it is full of gifts. And we're here with many gifts. Be willing to receive the gifts. Do not be like someone who we have gifts for and you don't want to receive them. Like on Christmas morning or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you celebrate, there are gifts and you just are too busy. No time to receive the gifts. Be willing to receive the gifts. And we are here with so many gifts and love for you. You're complete. Namaste.
All right, Noemi, I'm laughing because we're talking about ice cream. Now you brought in half-baked cake. What's going on here? No pumpkin pie mention. No.
It's Thanksgiving.
I was going to say, going on? I can imagine the pumpkin pie here. What I absolutely love about that is be willing to be with. And two beautiful words were allow the development, and my favorite one was allow the formation. And that is what manifestation is. It's the formation of our desires, and we can be with them and then allow the gifts of that manifestation. Yeah.
I like that, the formation.
Yeah, I think of, crystals and, of course, snowflakes and water crystals, all things like when I say that the formation is something, but that's really when it gels and comes together. And
yes.
It feels like such a, I can't wait to wait. And now I'm excited to wait now and just be, I can't wait to be present and just wait. It's a whole new shift for me.
Yeah, that willingness to wait, that willingness to just be with, to be with it. At the beginning of the show, I didn't want to be with this technical issue. I was like, ooh, SSL error. I'm like, ooh, I used to do that when I was in IT, secure socket layer. Oh, there's something here. And it's just like, let it be, let it be, let it be.
Yes. Yes, and
just allow
something that was
presence.
Something that was really fun there too is when we have an impulse, we can light up. We really we're full of like anticipation and wows and aha moments. And I have a thing that I used to say all the time, and it's not a program, but it was grow then glow, because what happens is we're like a little glow bug in the beginning, but when we grow, we will continue to grow. It will be even brighter because it will be not the half-baked cake that has still the tasty ingredients, but the fully baked one and a little bit more ready to be presented and to really get some legs to go on. So that's what I'm really taking away from all this.
Yeah, And if you eat the half-baked cake with the semi-raw eggs and stuff, it could really actually be not good for you. It could actually cause problems. So it is, digestively, and so it is being that willingness to just be. And it shows up. I was on my walk. That's where the present moment, circling back, the present moment awareness came. It was just like, be willing to be. Be willing to be here now and be with it. Be with it.
Yes.
Have a T-shirt.
That's
Be
gonna
with
be on
it.
our posts. Yeah,
Yes.
just be with it. Not do it. Be with it. Oh,
Yeah,
we hope
right. Not
everybody-
Nike. Yes.
Not
Just
Nike.
be
Yeah.
with it.
We hope that everybody's enjoying our fun series and our development, and as it's unfolding, we'll have some more surprise fun topics here to help everybody on our next show, which will be the final.
2 weeks,
Yes,
so
the final.
that would be the
Monday.
25th.
Yes. So please come back and join us here on the 25th for another episode of Access to Angels and Grace with my lovely co-host here, Channeler Noemi Grace, and myself, Lisa Berry.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yes, and I will repost the replay link in a day or two. So.
Oh, that's
Blessings.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Yes, blessings. I love that today, especially. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Bye,
exactly.
Noemi.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye-bye.